What's good, everybody? Welcome to another broadcast for Fast Break here live for IE Sports Radio. You're the week for all sports, and you're welcome to join us tonight. D-Locke is back in the fold with us tonight after a good few weeks off. D-Locke, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm actually doing pretty good, man. I'm super nervous right now also because my squad is playing right now as well. But I'm glad to be back, man. Talk some NBA. Paulo Banchero, he came back. He's starting to cook again. Hopefully that's a good sign for my Bucks tonight for Central Florida. So definitely glad to be back, man. Definitely glad to be back.
We're here on Wild Card Weekend. Lots of things to talk about. You know, we got the LA Fires affecting NBA play down in Southern California. You know, they got the big matchup between the OKC Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers this past week. Cavs winning. We'll discuss that. And Paulo Banchero back for the Magic. How does that change their trajectory going forward? I want to get your thoughts on the Jimmy Butler saga when we come back outside of things, because I want to get your thoughts on that, what your feelings on that, and all that good stuff there. And plus, you sent me this yesterday. Cooper Flag had a big day yesterday against Notre Dame. Can he continue that strong performance throughout the season? So we'll discuss that much more here live for Fast Break, live for IE Sports Radio. You're feed forward as sports, and we'll catch y'all on the other side after these short few messages.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back. And thank y'all for tuning in with us here on Fast Break here for Live for IE Sports Radio, your week for all your sports. Thank y'all for tuning in with us on this January 12th, brand into the new year here. And a lot to talk about in the basketball world and stuff like that. But first, I want to shout out to our newest sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements. Get Raw Nutrition. Go to getrawnutrition.com. Use promo code IESR for 10% off. 10% off. Everybody like a little discount stuff like that. So go to getrawnutrition.com. Use that promo code right there on your screen. IESR for 10% off your order. So shout out to our new sponsor there. Do follow our page on Twitter /X, Fastbreak IESR. So that's the handle right there. Do follow us there on there. Before we get rolling, D-Locke, I do want to say a big tragedy out west, still ongoing right now. The LA fires in Southern California. As a person, I used to live in, SoCal, Irvine, around that area and so forth. It sucks. It sucks seeing, the people losing their homes, the countless lives lost. Like some of the stories we've been hearing, like people just couldn't move or couldn't leave, and unfortunately they met their demise. So it's a sad tragedy that is still ongoing, and I don't know when the end's gonna be in sight right there. So if you can, donate to the Red Cross if you want to. If not, if you think the Red Cross is a scam, I don't blame you. Donate somebody's GoFundMe page right directly to them. So please do that. The LA fires, all that good stuff. D-Locke, I'm glad you're back in the fold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One more thing I want to put a note. The Lakers and Clippers are going to resume play on Monday. So they've been canceled the past couple games for both teams. I don't know when they're going to reschedule those games, but those games will be resuming back Monday, as I saw on ESPN earlier. So with the Lakers playing the Spurs, while the Clippers are hosting the Miami Heat on Monday. So big games right there. Also, hopefully, those games being a peace of mind to the folks in LA and the surrounding area. And speaking of Miami Heat, D-Locke, since you've been gone, Jimmy Butler in the Heat, they've been having issues. Jimmy Butler has requested a trade. Miami has suspended Jimmy Butler for contact detrimental to the team and all that good stuff. He's requested a trade. Phoenix has seemed like the top of his list. I know you've been gone for the past couple weeks. Your thoughts on the whole Jimmy Butler thing in your eyes, and how does it end in your eyes, or does it end, or is it just saying Miami?
I mean, I don't. There's no way Jimmy Butler comes back to Miami. I think that's probably out of the window. Right now, they need to find the best trade for him. He's definitely going to be going somewhere else, without question. For me, I think my biggest deal is how it was handled. Right. It kind of felt as if they were not on the same page, but they had a hell of a run with each other. And we thought that Jimmy Butler fits this, what Pat Riley loves to do. So for me, I think the fact that this is going on is kind of shocking. But Jimmy Butler is on his way out, without question. And that's just what I think right now at this moment. It sucks how it had to happen, but I definitely think that Jimmy Butler is gone. And he get the best trade for him. I mean, at this point, like I said, he needs to go to a team that fits, what he's trying to do and how he can help them. He's a hell of a defender. Orlando, I hope you're hearing this. But I think that, he needs to go somewhere where he can make an impact now. He wants to go where there's a winning culture. It kind of seems like Miami is not necessarily fully in the rebuilding mode, but seeing what they have with Tyler Hero, Terrell's it really ain't doing too much. Got to figure out what they're going to do with Bam, but this is probably in the best interest of both, just because the fact is they're both going separate ways right now.
Yeah, the latest update I've been reading is like the Phoenix Suns have been really interested in him. Now, the only hiccup will be, with Bradley Beal, get rid of there's no trade clause to go to Miami. So I know Bill's been on the radar before for Miami. Do you think that can get done there between Phoenix and Miami? I mean, they've done the trade before. Shaq going to Phoenix years ago. You think they can, make that deal happen with Butler and company?
I mean, it's possible, but who are they giving up? Right? Who is Miami going to accept? Like, okay, well, we'll take these pieces. I mean, because if you throw Jimmy Butler, I'm pretty sure you expect him to play with a Kevin Durant, a Devin Booker, and a Bradley Beal. So are you getting another guard in Tyus Jones? What are you gonna get? One of those bigs. You already got Bam. So what's the full trade would be like? That would benefit. Miami. I mean, at this point, now granted, you're getting rid of a player that probably done. He's getting suspended. It's probably out the way, but that don't mean you give him away for pennies. You're gonna want something in return. So for me, I think Phoenix is not a bad move, but we already seen what the hell they got with those three guys. Like, we want them to stay healthy, but that's already an issue alone. You bring him Jimmy Butler, he could come in there and help a few things, but what are they giving up? That's the biggest question. Are they okay with first round draft picks? What is it that they really want? That's the biggest deal for me.
Okay. I just sent you to something, but Breacher reports Andy Bailey put up a kind of like a trade, and see what that flies with you. According to this trade by Bailey, there's a 3-team trade between the Suns, Heat, and your Orlando Magic. The Suns, they received Butler and a top 45 protected second-round pick from Orlando. The Heat, they received Jonathan Isaac, KCP, a 2026 second-round pick from Phoenix, Viva Denver, and a 2021 first-round swap from Phoenix. The Magic, they received Bradley Beal and Jamie Jarquez Jr. Now,
Well, I'll be happy we get rid of Jonathan Isaac. I'll say that now. I know he's starting to get in the rhythm, but before something happens, go ahead and move him wouldn't be bad. Getting Bradley Beal, obviously we know what Bradley Beal can be and who he is, but Jaquez is a piece that I would love to have. I think he's a piece that you can build around with the young core of Suggs, Wagner, and Banchero. That's some great pieces. Bradley Beal, obviously having you another guard. In a sense, you're trading KCP for Bradley Beal. I'm not really too mad about that. And obviously, like I said, you have a piece that you put together with the team. So this is not a bad trade. I don't think this is a bad trade at all. Obviously, for my Magic, for the Heat, when you're losing Jimmy Butler and Jaquez, you got your young pieces there that you can build around. Grabbing Jonathan Isaac, which is a piece that they need to bring with Bam. Bring some defense in KCP. With the Tyler Hero. And you get a draft pick out of that. Not too mad with it. And the Suns receiving Jimmy B with a second-round pick, for Orlando was perfect for them as well. But again, do I see Phoenix moving on from Bradley Beal? And that's the only question that I have is, do they move on from Bradley Beal? Because again, now we look at another big three that didn't work, right? We've seen Kevin Durant go from big three to big three to big three, and it hasn't worked. So we move on from Bradley Beal, which is possible. This could also be a possibility. Okay, it doesn't work, and you're going to retool and use like the Jimmy Butler, which is probably a better piece anyway, being the fact that we're seeing Bradley Beal starting to come off the bench. So, you know what? I'm actually impressed with this pick or this trade. Not being too biased of moving Jonathan Isaac, but I think with this trade specifically, I think all three teams win.
I look at it like this, the Suns getting Jimmy Butler, I think that's the end goal right there. And I think, doing that swap, I think they'll go perfectly. And then you kind of you got Tyus Jones at point, Booker at the 2, Jimmy at the 3, Durant at the stretch 4, and then Nurkic at the 5. And you got a very solid lineup right there for the, short term, trying to, possibly push for a championship. Not saying they're going to win it, but it's a good push right there to make it stronger in the championship. With Grayson and Allen come off the bench, and, Rose O'Neal, off the bench as well. Not a bad seven-man rotation right there for Mike Budenholzer and crew. For the Heat, like you mentioned again, Jonathan Isaac, could you get him there, start him at center, and slide Bam to the 4, and take advantage of those matches there against some of these smaller forwards around the league? And can that offense kind of expand a little bit with Bam at the 4 right there instead of him playing small ball 5 for the most part? I think if you kind of look at scheme fit and stuff like that, put Bam at the 4, try Isaac at the 5, and see how that goes right there for the Heat. Hero, Terry Rozier. It sucks you're going to lose Jamie Jarquez there in this mopped up trade. But, slide it where you want the 3, and then you just kind of move things forward there. But I think, it won't hurt to put Bam in the 4 and see you can get some mismatches there in the 4 and kind of have him dominate there and see how things go. And then you can still play in small ball 5 in certain spots, but, kind of start off and stuff like that. Hey, if you're playing like a Boston Celtics, playing Jason Tatum, get him a foul trouble early, stuff like that. You're playing the 76ers. At times they're playing Kelly Oubre, Paul George at a small forward. at the 4 spot. Take advantage of that. On teams, I mean, you're trying to keep up with like teams like the Cavs in a sense, who got like size all through and kind of match up evenly across the board. I think that's one team you gotta look at. You got to contend in the East, but everybody else, you know, New York, they play kind of small in a sense. If you look at it, you know, OG Mikal Bridges, they 6'7", 6'8", but Bam's kind of like real bigger than those guys. So can you take advantage of that? And then, you know, if you can take advantage of that, you know, that's do runners for your lineup and whatnot and flow the game. So I kind of like this trade, and kind of look at the Orlando side of things. You know, some of the guys that went down, getting Bradley Beal. I don't know if he's gonna may start or whatever, but getting him to kind of replace their offensive production that KCP has kind of been lacking this year, that could be a good positive right there. Again, Jarquez to kind of supplement that defense and all-around play to kind of pick up the side from KCP. I like that. You know, De Silva's been playing very good ball for y'all this year.
Oh yeah, getting them minutes. He's definitely been filling in great, especially with Wagner and Banchero being gone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's
been playing great.
Also,
you know, he's been playing great. Anthony Batten, you know, coming in getting solid minutes. Cole Anthony getting solid production, and you know, with Mosley, having 2 star players out, he's been keeping things in place. And then if you got these 2 guys in, and the way Coach Mosley been keep everything in place, that's a dangerous team if they fully healthy. That's a very dangerous team.
Now, I think the biggest thing with this team is we got to be healthy. I mean, we lose Banchero and then we lean on Wagner for a while. He gets hurt. Then we lean on Suggs. Then he gets hurt. So it goes back to the question of getting Bradley Beal. I mean, you do get him, and you're going to need him to come and fill that void a little bit. Because as good as KCP is, we know he's more of a defender. He's a 3-and-D guy. And he works perfect for a team that's fully healthy. But we're not that team right now. So I think at the same time, I think it's best that you move on somebody like that because he could do the best of adding those points that we need. Because the fact that Jalen Suggs is out for a while, Franz Wagner's out for a while, and Banchero's going to be able to do a lot. But throw somebody with him. You move Jonathan Isaac because of obviously his history of being injured, but also what is he doing at 100%? He's a defender for you. You know, we got a lot of those guys. So bring some more shooters around. Banchero, Wendell Carter, Goga. I think you have a decent team that can do something in the future.
And, you know, kind of like in crunch time situations, kind of like I watching that Milwaukee Orlando game the other day, you know, it would help to have like a Bradley Beal out there in those clutch situations. Because I feel like at Paolo, it was kind of do damn everything by himself to kind of not keep Orlando in the game, but kind of like still to win the game. But you kind of, if the trade, let's say the trade happens, Bill, Suggs, Banchero, Franz Wagner, your four main guys, kind of like crunch time situations, and then Jarquez kind of give like a glue guy out there. That's perfect. You need big out there, Wendell Carter. That'd be a good move right there. If Cole Anthony's hot, you maybe throw him out there and have Banchero at the small 5. Like the options of this is there if this move, quote unquote, were to happen. So, and you always gonna be saying for the past few years here on the show, like Orlando got to do something. You know, they've been doing things, but it's kind of being things that's not like putting you
up there. Yeah,
it's got to put you here.
I mean, you got to make that big move. I mean, right now they are. I think they're looking like one of the better teams in the East right now. And we're playing with one of the better. We're playing competitive with the bigger teams. I think one of the teams that got our number is the Knicks. That's a team that we're struggling with big time. Everybody else we're playing, to the end of the fourth quarter with. But if you go make a big move like a Bradley Beal, maybe that does make a big impact, moving forward. So Again, I think that trade would be bad, man. To be honest, I think it's a pretty decent trade for all three teams. I think Jimmy Butler would probably approve of that trade in my mind. I also think that now when you do that, we see another big three with the Phoenix Suns, and we see how that works. Now they have a leader that comes there that moves a hell of a lot different than the Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, or Kevin Durant. We've heard Kevin Durant in the past, and all he want to do is play ball. He doesn't really want to pull that leader role. If he could just play ball, he'd be happy. So you bring somebody in that's going to bring that energy and the expectation, it might spark a lot for the Phoenix Suns. So, and also I think that would separate what we see with Miami Heat right now, because a couple of years ago, if you told me that Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler would be in two different worlds or not on the same page, I probably wouldn't agree with you at that point. I would think that doesn't make sense. But that's where we are. All good things that they say must come to an end at some point. So it's time to move Jimmy Butler. And if so, Phoenix, this trade right here probably would be a big move, and obviously it would help the Orlando Magic take a huge leap into what they need.
Right now, the Magic, deep in the fourth quarter with 1:09 left, they're up 4 points against the 76ers. Right now, 100-96 as it is talking right now. Cole Anthony, 27 points to lead the way so far for the Magic. Paolo Banchero, 16 points in 25 minutes of action. Off the bench, Anthony Black, 17 points for him. 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Jonathan Isaac, double-double for him. 20 points and 2 rebounds for him. So he's trying to make his trade value go up right there. On the Philly side of things, Tyrese Maxey, 26 points for him. Paul George, 25 points. No Joel Embiid, of course. And then Kelly Oubre, 12 points for him. So even when Banchero back and not playing like full minutes like that, they got a chance to knock off Philly here tonight.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think as good as that is, let's be honest, Philly is a mess.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, I think, we see another big three. We talked about it multiple times on the show. I think we talked about it a few times, the past few shows. Philly is a mess. And the fact that you had to say Embiid is out again tells you a lot. So for me, it is an impressive win, but obviously Philly is just dumpster fire right now. And they're trying to find their way back. I'm not sure how that's going to impact Philly moving forward. Playoff time coming around, I think if they don't have that chemistry, they're going to be bumped out if they make the playoffs. But Orlando is using this to build their chemistry and get Banchero back into the thick of things. We get a chance to have our big three back, and you may possibly look at a Bradley Beal joining and making another big three. You're looking at a team that can go pretty deep in the playoffs if they do what they need to.
Right now, Orlando is 4th in the standings. Tied with Indiana in 4th in the standings, with Milwaukee right behind them. So, if they hang on to win this game, you keep Philly down, down out of playoff play-in contention. Not even playoff, but play-in contention. So, it's something in the East right now. And we didn't really expect this to
Look like he has issues going on. But again, I think the biggest thing with Orlando Magic is that we want to take that leap. And this trade could be a huge thing, very, very huge thing. So, and Philly have to get things on track. And that's the biggest thing. Philly have a situation where Embiid has not been playing consistently. He's been out. He's been off a lot. So if Philly can get back in the mix of having their big three, then Philly could do something. But the Magic do look like a top 5 team in the East, and it could do some damage. I mean, obviously you got, as Davidson was saying, you got Boston, you got New York and Cleveland, and the Magic are right there. So, and like I said earlier, the team that we're struggling against is the New York Knicks. That's a team that we had a problem with in the tournament, and we have not been playing extremely well against them. So hopefully the Magic can get it around. Like I said, I think they can go pretty deep in the playoffs and do something serious. If so, I think that'd be huge for 407, big time.
I'm sorry about that. And I'm trying to click off this thing here, and then next, it just took me off. But I think we're all good right now. So let's take a break real quick. On the other side of things, we'll talk about Cavs, Thunder, and then talk about the NBA week that was. But this is Fast Break here live for iSports Radio. You're the read for all sports, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Hey, sports fans. Are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a down south education on Florida sports and athletics. It's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back. We're back. This is that Fast Break here for Live for Sports Radio. I'm Davidson Crooks, Crooks Process. That's D-Locke right there. D-Locke, we're going to talk about the week that was from last week up to now. Your Orlando Magic, they defeated the Sixers 104-99. So big win for the Orlando Magic there. Over today's games that happened to match up today, the Knicks, they beat down the Bucks 140-106.
Oh my gosh.
Chris Middleton has been moved to the bench in favor for Taurean Prince. And we know who's one of the assistant coaches for the Bucks. So make that as you will. He has 16 points off the bench. Giannis had 24 points, 13 rebounds for his effort, 22 points for Damian Lillard. For the Knicks side of things, Brunson had 44 points. Another strong scoring game for him. Karl-Anthony Towns, 30 points, 18 rebounds for him. Minnesota got robbed in that trade.
Oh, yeah. Big time. We could have seen that.
I mean, damn. Josh Hart, 11 points, 11 rebounds for him. 18 points off the bench for Cameron Payne, who I'm surprised who's bouncing around a lot in the league but can't stick nowhere. Mikal Bridges, 6 points for him on that side of things. Shout out to the chat real quick. Shout out to Terry Rodriguez. Shout out to Larry B, the founder. They're Southern California natives, so hopefully they're not too much affected what's going on out in around the LA area. I hope not, but hopefully them and their family staying safe right now. And while the wildfires and all that's going on right there. And shout out to Mikey Two Guns. How you doing tonight, sir? And brings me to this game right here, D-Lock. The Celtics, they beat the Pelicans today, 120 to 119. When I first saw this, I was like, on the docket, on the schedule, I was like, the Pelicans being in disarray. Zion got suspended last game because he missed a team flight for reasons. And they lose the game to
got
Philly.
A lot of stuff going on right now, man.
They go to Boston. They lose by 1 point. Trey Murphy had 30 points. Zion himself had 16 points. On the Boston side of things, 38 points for Jason Tatum, but the stat line, 14 to 30 shooting the ball, 2 for 10 for three-point land. I can't stand those stats. 19 points for Kristaps Porzingis, 16 for Jaylen Brown, 11 points each for Al Horford and Peyton Pritchard. D-Lock, Zion missed a team flight, didn't play against Philly. Plays against Boston, they lose by 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Pelicans brass to say they won't trade him, but what should they do with him?
I mean, at this point, man, you got somebody with such high expectations, potential to do so much, but it just hasn't worked out. You know, that's like a relationship with somebody you thought it would be perfect with, but it just doesn't work. I think at this point it may be he needs a new start somewhere. It's not working in New Orleans. We go from being, weighing a lot, not being in shape, to the situation with an adult performer. Should I say? I'm trying to say it the most professional kid way. I mean, like PG way I can say it. That situation to where staying injured to now we're missing flights. At this point, you got to move on from it. And you're looking at the best trade possible. Now, could we rewind that to the conversation we had about Jimmy Butler?
Mm-hmm.
Could Miami potentially try to pitch something to New Orleans for Jimmy for Zion? Yes. Now, granted, we're not talking about the fact of how Jimmy B's going to feel. He's going to feel how he feels. He wants to go to a winning franchise. Understand? But you're at a situation now where I think Zion needs to be moved. Jimmy Butler needs to be moved. Could you put a 3-team trade together for these guys to be moved somewhere? I think Zion's still a hell of a player. Didn't work there. He probably needs to be somewhere where somebody is literally hands-on with him. And the person that I think is perfect for a literally hands-on Zion is the one and only Patrick or Pat Riley. I think that could mesh very well. And in my mind, obviously that's just me throwing an idea. But at the end of the day, I think the Pelicans need to go ahead and start that move. It sucks because they had the high expectation. They got the number 1 pick. We remember talking about it. We think Zion is going to be the guy. He's going to change everything. We remember the dunks and all of that. But it just hasn't worked. This guy's in New Orleans, and he's finding ways to get in all type of stuff off the court. And now he's missing flights. Who misses a flight? Who's late to practice, late to flight, to go to a game? So, for me, and what is he right now? 22, 23?
Yeah, right. Yeah, around that age. Yeah,
he's around that age, so he's still got a lot of growing to do. He has to have that mentor there. I believe that's going to be a big part, not just as a player, but an assistant coach, a general manager, an owner, somebody there that can kind of guide him, an agent that can guide him where he needs to. But it's probably time for him to go ahead and make that big jump somewhere else that can get his career in the right way. But I think it's time for New Orleans to make that move. It sucks. It's gonna be hard to do, but I think this is the time.
When I saw that he missed a flight, I was like, "Damn, dude! I mean, what we doing here?" It's like we anticipate you return, then you do silly stuff to kind of knock yourself out of playing time and all that stuff. And I said it on our Twitter page. I said it then when that formal announcement happens. Right there. This is what happens. Give a dude too much money before really, really seeing what he is. We talked about this years ago. I brought this up years ago. They jumped the gun giving that dude extension. I know things were kind of looking good on the upside. You kind of bank on the upside and stuff like that. But I was like, we talking about weight issues with a young 18-year-old, 19-year-old. Then, started hearing about the extracurricular activities outside the court that he's partaking in. You got that going on. It's just like a lot of things that you kind of looking at and like, do you want to invest in that? Do you want to kind of jump the gun in that? And now we kind of see like the results of everything, like missed time, weight issues, lady issues, work habit. We got to remember, folks. You're talking about a kid, since he was in high school, prep school, whatever, that's kind of been given the world. Don't have to show much work ethic through high school. It was easy being like a 6'7" dude can bounce out of the gym like Larry Johnson and dominate in high school. It was same thing in Duke for the most part. And they only spent like a semester, going to class and stuff like that. Now you get to hear what we doing. Missing the fight before a game against Philly, and your team's in the toilet. And D-Locke, I don't know where this team gonna go. They're on the hook with him a lot financially.
They are big time. I think you have to make the decision now. Being like you said, they're on the hook financially, but also him being your number one pick, your franchise savior at some point, as you thought, it's going to be hard to move on from that. And that's something that they're going to really have to decide to do. Now, obviously, we've heard the fact that he's one of the best players out of drafts, is LeBron James, our expectations, all these different things. I really believe that this is going to be something that the Pelicans are going to have to make that decision. You got Jimmy Butler, you got DeJounte Murray, you got Trey Murphy, who was playing great for them. I think that's a piece that you can actually build around for a long time. So you have to get those things in order. But moving on from Zion would be a tough thing to do. But I would say get some pieces for him, get a pick for him, something. But I think it's time for him to move on somewhere because that experience just has not worked.
Not work. Brandon Ingram's looking for an extension. I feel like they're not gonna give it to him. CJ McCollum, nice veteran to have around, but I mean, he's not really moving the needle for you. Herb Jones has been out. Some of the only benefit is those star players being gone. Like the young guys been getting good minutes, so you got a good eval on them to kind of decide who you want to keep and what not. But it's just like I don't know what you're gonna do, dude. And you had a chance to upset Boston today. And, you didn't get the job done. So, we'll see how things shake out for the Pelicans here. Boston got the big win in a sense that one of the worst teams in the league almost kind of got y'all's number. But, Tatum's got shaping up. I know he had 38 points, but the field goal percentage, that's got to be better. 44 to 1-on-1 shooting from the field, that's got to be better. 13-44 from three, that's got to be better from the Celtics, in my humble opinion. I just like the numbers are sometimes disgusting. We go back and look at things on that good front. Saying that today's scores, the Thunder beat down the Wizards, who are worse than the Pelicans, if you believe me. 136-195. SGA 27 points for him. 23 23 points off the bench for Wiggins. Excuse me. For Washington, Jordan Poole had 13 points to lead way for the Wizards. Alex Sarr, 10 points, 6 rebounds for him. Chris Burt, 17 points off the bench for him for the Wizards. And the Wizards should be continuing to do this. Win a game every 30 days to kind of get yourself in the top 3 in the draft. That's the only goal they should have for the rest of the year. The Kings, they went to Chicago, beat the Bulls 124-119. De'Aaron Fox, 26 points, 9 rebounds for him. Sabonis, 22 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists for Sabonis right there. For the Bulls side of things, Lonzo Ball got the start for the Bulls today. Great to see that. 15 points for him, 36 points for Zach LaVine, 10 points for talent Horton Tucker. I somewhat touched on this while you've been gone. What did you make of the Mike Brown firing from the Kings? Because I didn't like it. But what are your thoughts on that?
I wasn't too much of a fan of it. I think I just felt like they could have let it play out a little bit longer. Because the Kings had a hell of a season. Was it a couple years ago? They had a number 2 seed or something like that. So I think that they kind of rushed that quick, pretty fast. I think a lot of things these franchises got to realize is only one team to be the NBA champ. Only one team to be the Super Bowl champ. So you can't have the expectation of being an NBA champ every year, and if it doesn't happen, you got to find another coach. It takes time. Yeah, sometimes it takes time to actually get to where you're trying to go. You do that and you build. So to let somebody go so fast is a big deal for me. And now you got to start over, right? Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox got to find somebody else that he connect to. This team was one of the best three-point shooting teams, I think, a couple years ago. Now that changed. So I wasn't too much a fan of it, but I guess that's the reason why I'm not a general manager or owner.
I gave some of my thoughts on a closure show a couple weeks ago, and to kind of get my full thoughts of it, Mike Brown kind of turned that team around. And they made the playoffs since its first time since 2006. That's the year I graduated high school. That's a long time ago, man. 20 years ago? 2006? In that stretch, think of all the coaches they went through. The lottery picks, all that good stuff. Bad contract signings. New ownership within that time period as well. I was mind boggled like that. Like, okay, you made the top 3 in the West a couple years ago. You got beat by the Warriors. Okay, Warriors are the Warriors. Went to 7. It happened. I don't say it happens, but tough draw in the first round. Following year, went to the play-in, got bounced. This year, been all right. Could be a little bit better. But I think what we talked about in the past, we didn't expect the rise of the OKC Thunder like this. The Timberwolves kind of like this. The Grizzlies like this. So, the fact that those 3 teams there, the Lakers been kind of not here, but kind of here. The Clippers coming right there. Just got a lot of teams kind of ahead of you right now. The Warriors, they kind of started off hot, but they kind of dropped a little bit. So this is like a lot of factors. Like it's a tough West draw in the West, and in that order for the Kings, it has to be. I won't say one of the worst owners in the NBA, but his decision has been baffling, and I'm glad that Mike Malone I know some of these coaches stick up to each other, but Mike Malone really went in. If y'all didn't catch that, he really called them out. Like, yeah, I'm not surprised they trash, and that's why they stay trash, because they had no patience there, and that's why they're in the position where they are right now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing where a lot of not just NBA franchises, a lot of teams we talk about. They get a coach, they want to get started, and then things get going, then they fire them before they get the full piece together. Now we're talking about professional sports where there is a draft every year. So you may have that number one pick and get your forward that you want, but you still got to put the pieces around. You may get a Victor, but Victor is not going to be able to take the team to the NBA Finals by himself. He can do so much. You add him with other players, add pieces around him. So to me, what Sacramento has, John Ellis is actually playing pretty well, especially with De'Aaron Fox being out. Sabonis is going to be who he is. So you got a few pieces. And you gotta be consistent. Another thing too is we're talking about a team on the NBA West. The Western Conference is not the East. This is one of the toughest conferences that we've seen for years and years and years and years. So again, to let them go now is a head scratcher. But again, that's for the fans to be head scratchers. The people in the front office in Sacramento, let's see if they know what they're doing.
We'll see how Doug Christie does things. If y'all know him, Doug Christie, veteran NBA player, played for the Raptors, Lakers, most notably for the Kings. I think he had a stint with the Mavs as well. If you know about Doug Christie, he got a very strong marriage with his wife, Jackie. I'll just put it to you that way. Very strong marriage. If you know, you know. But before we get to our next break, D-Lock, I want to talk about the Thunder and the Cavs, on Wednesday matchup. You had two of the best teams in the NBA. Cavs win that game 129-122. As is recording, they win that matchup. For the Cavs, 25 points for Jared Allen, 11 rebounds, who kind of played strong throughout the game. Evan Mobley, 21 points, 10 rebounds for him, 7 assists in that matchup as well. He played awesome down low as well. Darius got only 18 points for him. Mitchell, not his best scoring night there, but 11 points for him. But credit to the bench. Strus had 17 points off the bench. LeVert had 8 to kind of negate some of that scoring. Ty Jerome, if y'all play FanDuel, he's a good guy to get on the cheap for the Cavs. So if you play FanDuel, trying to fair you lineups, Ty Jerome's a good play. Depending on how things go for the Cavs. For OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 31 points, 25 points for Williams. I have Isaiah Hartenstein, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists for him. 11 points off the bench for Wiggins. As we break down this matchup, D-Lock, between these top two teams.
Mm-hmm.
With the Cavs winning this game, do they stamp their supremacy as the top team in the West? I mean, not down the West, but not in just the East, but in the NBA as well.
You know what? I think what I've seen from the Cavs so far, I think this is one of the better teams in the NBA, not just the East. Remember, we talked about it when they were undefeated, what games they were going to lose, where they're going to go. They're struggling against Boston a few times, but to play OKC, we know are one of the better teams in the league. To beat them, I think, They're playing extremely well. Darius Garland is doing what he needs to. Donovan Mitchell is on fire. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley seems like a great Twin Towers connection. These guys are doing the best that they can. I really like what they're doing all together. So for me, I think this is one of the better teams in the NBA. Now, in a 7-game series, how many games do we see the Cavs continuously win over time? I think the team that they're going to have to battle with to get to the NBA Finals, obviously, is the Boston Celtics. I think they're going to be a team they got to deal with. I think the Orlando Magic, unbiased, obviously is one of the better teams in the East, but losing some of the players that they've lost would impact them big time. Losing the Bo Wagner definitely impacts playing against the Cavs because of the bigs that they do have. So I like what the Cavs are doing. I mean, they have this resurgence where they have these guys, these rotational guys at the guard position. Ty Jerome comes out there and gets what he wants. Craig Porter comes out there and plays extremely well from time to time. Like, these guys are doing what they do. But then having two bigs like a Jared Allen and the Evan Mobley, guys went crazy against Toronto, I believe, a couple of days ago. So for me, I like this Cavs team. How consistent can they be is the question. And that's the biggest thing I think that's going to determine a lot for this Cavs team. The team that they're going to run into that's going to play a big part is the Boston Celtics. One of the bigger teams we thought was Philly, but Philly is, I told you, a head case right now. Milwaukee is in question right now as well. I don't see too much of what they're going to do, how they're going to change too much. But the Cavs look like a dangerous team. Also the Knicks. But when you do have Karl-Anthony Towns, the comparison is the fact that the Cavs do have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I think that does a hell of a lot of damage for multiple teams. Let's not forget about Karis LeVert as well. So this team got the shooters. They got the bigs as well. So the Cavs are clearly one of the better teams, not only in the East, but in the NBA.
I think for me, watch this matchup, you saw the size, difference. Chet Holmgren's still out, but you saw the size that as game wars on, especially in that first half when Jared Allen and Evan Mobley kind of like were closing that first half. I was okay. If the guards ain't hitting, the size takes over. The big men take over, and that's what you like to see. Nothing flashy from Jared Allen. It's gonna be like a couple plus moves. He'll go up and whatnot and be strong with the ball. Mobley, more kind of that traditional four. The mid-range shot, stuff like that. But for me, watching that match, I was like, okay, y'all, I don't say damn near perfect, but you kind of see the difference in the coaching with Atkinson and Bickerstaff. And we're kind of seeing it now. And, Bickerstaff did a fine job with that crew, but Kenny Atkinson kind of really elevated that roster. And give credit to Kenny Atkinson, he's been offered a couple jobs here, since he's been when he's with the Warriors. But, kind of like want to wait his time. And now he found a great spot here in Cleveland and got this team into title contention. And I was on favor to win the title. Now, today, the loss to the Pacers, 108-93, stepping that winning streak they had. Garland had 20 points. Mitchell had 19. Still didn't shoot well, but, Mobley had 16 points. The bench didn't really contribute as much as it should. Like, Niang had 7, LeVert has 2, and Strus had 3. So not a great shooting night for those bench guys compared, to the Pacers and their bench. But, for them, like, they took one loss. Okay, let's regroup. We'll see what we did wrong. Now it's blowing to another streak. Next game, they go to Indianapolis to play the Pacers on Tuesday. And then they got the rematch with OKC on the 16th. Then you play another strong team in the Timberwolves on the 18th. So you got the Pacers again, OKC, Minnesota. Then you back home Monday against the Phoenix Suns. So next week, we're talking about, could they go 1-3 in that stretch? 1-2 in that stretch. Could they go 3-0 in that stretch between those 3 games? Time will tell. It's going to be very interesting to watch the Cavs if they hit a little bump in the road and hit a losing streak. But I'll let you have the last word on that.
Again, like I said, I think that the Cavs are one of the better teams in the NBA. If they can keep that stretch going, that chemistry will continue to build. And once they do that, I think that they will be showing what they can do. And obviously, like I said, they got to run into the Knicks and the Celtics. I think the Celtics obviously trying to repeat is one of the better teams they're going to deal with. But right now, for me, I think that the Cavs are something to deal with. They can stay healthy. They can cause huge problems. It's going to be interesting if they make any trades. I don't think so, because I think their core is pretty well. If anything, they probably can maybe grab an extra forward. Maybe looking to get Jimmy Butler. I don't see it. They may have to get away with a piece that they don't want to. But I like what this team is looking like, and I think that they can do some damage moving forward. Especially teams like the Milwaukee Bucks or New York Knicks. The Cavs match it perfectly.
So we'll leave on that note. Like I said, the Cavs, they did lose their 14-game losing streak against not 14, but 12-game losing streak against the Pacers today. They meet the Pacers again this upcoming Tuesday as well, and then after that, OKC and Minnesota ride for those back-to-back games. So we'll see if Cleveland can maintain things or maybe hit a little bump in the road. But on the other side of things here on Fast Break, we'll talk about conference play in the NCAA. Who's looking good so far? Who's looking not so good? But this is Fast Break here live for Sports Radio, your directory for all sports. We'll catch you on the other side.
The roar of the crowd, the drama and pageantry, the adrenaline rush and decadence of the world of professional wrestling. Join yours truly, the SoCal Saint, for the best pro wrestling podcast going today, the IE Wrestling Show, exclusively on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Join us every Wednesday from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, every Wednesday, the IE Wrestling Show. It's just too woo!
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to Fast Break here for Live Fire Sports Radio, your directory for always sports. Real quick, we're going to dive into conference play going on in college basketball real quick. Lots of good games happened the weekend, and kind of some teams that kind of look at them like, what's going on, dog? What's going on? But D-Locke, I want to kind of go back to Saturday's matchups real quick. Auburn, number 2 team in the country, they escaped South Carolina 66-33. They are still 15-1. Despite Johnny Broom's ankle injury, they still hang on to beat the Gamecocks 63 over there in Columbia. Broom, before he went out the injury, had 6 points, 3 rebounds. So, and D-Lock, he's a big fan of the Bucks, and the Bucks, from what I can tell, I haven't been playing the best. So, right now, but Auburn 66-63 right now.
Right.
Duke, big day for Cooper Flag. Big day for Duke. They beat down Notre Dame. Well, not beat down, but 86-78 for the Blue Devils. Cooper Flag, 42 points for him. 6 rebounds, 7 assists. New freshman record for the ACC for Mr. Flag, who, when I text you back when you sent me that, like, still number 3 in my draft board.
Yeah.
Even after that performance, it was great. Still number 3. But performances like that, his scoring performances like that, and the way he shot the ball and stuff like that, 11-14 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3-point land. 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 16 free throws getting to the line. I don't know. Some people going to say, like, damn, get contact and stuff like that. They're going to change some folks' minds. We'll see. We'll see. On the side of things. 23 points for Burton for Notre Dame side of things. So, great night. And congratulations to Cooper Flag on that one as well. Baller. Straight baller. Terry Rodriguez brought this up. USC went out to Champaign, Illinois, and beat Illinois 82-72 in that matchup Saturday. So USC going out Midwest in the cold and all that stuff. Snowstorm coming through that way, and they get the big time road win over the final line 9. 31 points for Desmond Claude. 3 assists right there for him. So salute to the Trojans winning big on the road right there. Memphis 13-3 win 74-70 over East Carolina. When Penny wins, D-Lock, everybody's quiet. When they lose, everybody want to talk about them. So PJ Haggerty, 25 points for him to lead the way for the Memphis Tigers. Alabama in a tough matchup against Texas A&M, 94-88 for them. Mark Sears probably had one of his better games of the year for the winner for the Crimson Tide. And the news D-Lock last week I shared that I'll be down in Tuscaloosa this upcoming Tuesday for the Ole Miss Alabama matchup. Upcoming Tuesday. So 14-2 Ole Miss going to Tuscaloosa against 14-2 Alabama.
Good game. Very good game coming up.
So that's going to be a very good one right there. Kentucky beating Mississippi State 95-90 in that big time win on the road in Starkville. Georgia 14-2, probably ranking the polls here come Monday, 72-62 over Oklahoma, who has got 3 straight losses so far in the beginning of SEC play. Florida 71-63 over Arkansas.
Doing their thing.
And Todd Golden staying out of trouble.
Yes. Please.
Like we said, he if he win, nobody ain't gonna talk about it. If they lose, they ain't gonna talk about it. So he's doing his damn thing, trying to say winning ways. Going to Sunday's matchups real quick. Michigan State beat Northwestern 78-68. Purdue beat down Nebraska 104-68. After last week Nebraska got a big win against UCLA, in which Mick Cronin threw his players under the bus once again. In which, if you're a kid in America, I understand going to UCLA, playing in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Why go play for Mick Cronin? Just my thought.
Head scratcher.
Just my thought. I get it being in LA and all that stuff. I get it. But Eric Musselman is, across town. Play for him if you can. Michigan beat Washington 91-75. Dusty May has kind of really done a great job with the Wolverines so far this year. West Virginia 78 over to 70 over Colorado, and Oregon 82-81 over Penn State in that close matchup in Happy Valley. D-Lock, kind of look at earlier conference play. What are things? Who do you think has been playing decent so far? Because nobody's perfect. Who's been playing pretty bad in your eyes so far in conference play around the country on the men's side of things?
They've been playing pretty bad.
Yeah, who's playing good in your eyes and who's been playing pretty bad so far in your eyes?
To be honest with you, I think the biggest thing I like so far I've been paying attention to is University of Florida. They've been playing extremely well. And for me, I think that the way that they're playing, they're showing that this is a huge move that they're making, right? You talked about them, the coach not getting in any trouble. He's doing everything he needs to stay out of trouble, but he's also winning, which is a huge thing. So for me, I'm definitely excited about how he's playing. Duke is just playing how they play, right? Duke is showing that they're one of the better teams, not only in the conference but in college football. Oh, I'm sorry, college basketball as well. A big shocker to me is Florida State. You take a couple losses away, which is a shocker. I know that's my alma mater, but you're taking a few losses that you should not have taken. And also NC State as well. So for me, there are some good. There's like you said, there's some good. Like I said, Duke is looking pretty good. Florida looking extremely well, which is good. Then you have some teams that do shock you. And obviously, we know. Me personally, I feel like the SEC is not only very good in football, but they're one of the better conferences in basketball as well. Especially with Alabama being who they are, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, and all these other teams. They're not just good. They're not just good in one sport. They're good in multiple sports. They're competitive in literally every sport. So now you're joining the Texas and the Oklahoma. But for me, like I said, I think I'm very impressed with what Florida's doing, Alabama's doing, Auburn, Duke. But I think, like I said, you see the team like Florida State, the NC State. If I had to throw another team in there, kind of hard. Maybe LSU. They can play a little bit better. That's another team that you would think have higher expectations. But then we talk about the SEC. Somebody has to be at the bottom, right? So for me, I am definitely impressed with those teams. And it gets very interesting later on in the season. College basketball is just not starting to pick up. So we're going to start to see that conference play a hell of a lot more. And we're going to see those teams that we know are the best start taking over.
Let me look at the loser side of things. I want to highlight Oklahoma, Texas, real quick. They're new to the conference. They're 0-3. Oklahoma is a team that I think a lot of people didn't see coming out the gate undefeated like that. As strong as they did, and then they went to that matchup against Alabama. Excuse me, not that matchup against Alabama. Let me go back a little bit, trying to find that schedule. I think, lose to Tennessee, lose to Ole Miss. Oh, wrong schedule. Excuse me. There we go. I'm sorry about that. Lose big to Alabama and Tuscaloosa. Lose to Texas A&M, got 2 points. Lose to Mike White in Georgia, this past Saturday. So team that came in ranked into conference play, they're 0-3 in conference, start off. And now you play your arch rival in Texas come Wednesday, and they're 0-3 as well. So 2 0-3 teams, try and make their footing in the conference, both 0-3, and then either one of y'all gonna be 0-4 come after Wednesday. And then you kind of look at the rest of the schedule for Oklahoma for the rest of the month. They play South Carolina, who the team still under in a losing streak in conference play. At Arkansas, a team that's haven't won anything in conference play yet. I'll get them in a second. And then Texas A&M and College Station to round out the end of the month. There's a potential, D-Lock. They could be 0-7.
Oof.
Potential. We'll see how things shake out Wednesday against Texas, but there's potential that they could be 0-7. Come next week, we talk about these guys. Like, damn, y'all started off strong, and then what happened there? And then I can say the same thing what I say about Oklahoma applied to Texas as well. Like, same thing with y'all. So, y'all play pretty well pre-conference play. Now, y'all sitting at 0-3 right now. What's going on? Y'all got Oklahoma. Then they got to go Gainesville play Florida, which ain't gonna be easy feat. Then that following Tuesday, the 21st, play Missouri, play Texas A&M, go at Ole Miss, gets old coach Chris Beard. So there's a chance for them to have a goose egg by the end of the month. So not a good look so far for the two newbies in the SEC. And then I want to get to Arkansas real quick. Cal got chased out. Cal got chased out of Lexington. Let's be real about that. We all know that. After that first round loss to Oakland, he's going to get chased out of town. They're 0-3 in conference play. They lost to Florida, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. Tuesday, they got LSU. Another team that's 0-3. But they're playing them in Baton Rouge. After that, they got Mizzou, Georgia, and Oklahoma. They spent a lot of money for Cal at Arkansas. Cal brought a lot of talent in. I'm not Cal's biggest fan, but the dude can coach. I'll give him that. But for all this fanfare and stuff like that, the way Kentucky fans, they watch that team like a hawk. If they sneeze wrong, they on his neck. And if they lose against LSU, I don't know what the fans going to say. If they lose to Dennis Gates and Mizzou, I don't know what they're going to say. So for Cal now, I hope they better squeeze out a win here soon, or things going to be looking kind of funny. I'm not saying they're going to get rid of him out of the year. I'm not going to say that. Let's be real about that. But if they kind of come out like a goose egg at the end of the month, and then come February 1st, go up to Lexington against Kentucky, talking about pressure, that's pressure right there. And Kentucky just rolling along. Whole turnover roster. Mark Pope doing good things. Real committed there. That's going to be a tough matchup, man. So I just want to highlight those losers right there. The winners so far, the SEC, Florida, doing a great job. Tennessee doing fine. Auburn, despite the injury to Broom, doing well. Alabama doing well in conference play as well. And Ole Miss 3-0 in conference play. I do want to highlight that as well.
Yeah, I think, like I said, there are teams that are doing what they need to. It's just now, being able to be consistent. We're just not getting into the college basketball season. This is the time you get your chemistry. March Madness come around, we'll see how things start to shake out.
Yeah, we'll see how things shake out. Big Ten, real quick, looking at the standings. Michigan State 5-0. Michigan 5-0. Purdue 5-1. Oregon 4-2. The other newbies, UCLA 2-3 in conference play. USC 2-3, and then Washington at 1-5. So the newbies for the Big Ten, besides Oregon, are doing pretty well. USC got new coach, new players. I think it may take a year or two to kind of get that thing turned around. And UCLA, like I mentioned about Mick Cronin, once he started getting blaming players, I think we kind of see some of those dudes kind of check out. It's going to be real. But that Big Ten is going to be a dogfight as well. I'm also curious how the schedule for those West Coast teams will factor in later on in the season. How that thing's going to affect in Washington, those long flights and stuff like that. My big thing. And then USC and UCLA, the fire's going on, the fire's going around them and stuff like that. How they're affecting their play. A college kid like that, how they're affecting their psyche on that stuff. So that's another thing I kind of want to keep on when conference play is still going on throughout the year in that on side of things. But lastly, D-Lock, before we get out here, Duke is the top of the Atlantic Coast right now, 6-0. Clemson, Elite 18 last year, 5-1 so far. Louisville, 5-1 in conference play. North Carolina 4-1 along with Wake Forest. Your school where you at right now, Pitt 3-2 right now. SMU 3-2 right now. Stanford 3-2, which is weird to say. Your Florida State 2-3. Depending on how the rest of the season go about Florida State, do you think they get real old boy? He's already in his 70s, correct?
Leonard Hamilton?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. You know what? I'll say this. And for those that are watching, I'm giving you some exclusive. I guess I would say exclusive. Anytime that you see a university have a new athletic director, he's probably going to do some kind of new scenery, right? He wants to bring in some of the guys that he wants because he wants to make sure he is successful. Their AD has been there. This is his third year. So I wouldn't be surprised that if things don't go as planned and Florida State is not as competitive as they should be, they would move him now. Obviously, it'd be a shocker, but it's possible. For my sport of Florida State track and field, they just got a new coach this year. The AD just recently got there, like I said. So this is how it really goes. So to be honest, man, I think if Florida State doesn't be one of the better teams in the ACC, now we're talking about the ACC, we're talking about Duke, we're talking about Louisville, Notre Dame is individually they consider the ACC, Miami, these teams, Clemson, they have those basketball teams that are competitive. If they're not one of the better teams competing in the ACC, there's a possibility that they could make a change. It would shock the alumni of Florida State, but this is how things go. And they can't get on that page and make it into the tourney, get into the Elite 8, Sweet 16, somewhere around there. There's a good chance he could be moved.
I look at his age. He is 76 years old. I know he's close to 80. So that's the thing. Dang, he's close to 80. So
Yeah.
he's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, I mean, I think they let him go out on his own terms. But you know, they play Pitt here Wednesday, and then Georgia Tech on Saturday coming up, and then they go to West Coast swing after that. So for me, I was like, they're always kind of been consistent, but sometimes you kind of wish there was more out of them. I mean, you always got your standard bearers of Duke and North Carolina. That's we know that's standard. But you feel and Syracuse, throw them in there as well. But you always feel like there's always room for somebody in the top four, and nobody really in the SEC, I mean ACC, really kind of grabbed that. At times, Florida State's been up there. At times, Clemson been up there. Miami, Pitt. Before Tony Bennett retired, Tony Bennett's been up there for a good while. But sometimes you kind of question his style of playing, stuff like that. NC State when they want to. So, for him, in his new age of NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff, hopefully he figure things, turn things around and kind of, play strong for the rest of the month. If not, it's like you mentioned, like those whispers go get a little bit bigger. And like you said, the AD inherited him, so I mean, we'll see, if he can stick around and whatnot. But it's gonna be real. I don't know. It's kind of, I want to say, it's tough to remove a coach like that,
Correct.
and not have him on his own terms. That's my thing. It's like it's tough to do that to a coach. Saban went. Nick Saban went on his own terms. Roy Williams went on his own terms. Like the only two in recent memory, they kind of went on their own terms. Everybody else kind of pushed out the door. Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, who's in college now. Others, in the world of basketball, trying to think who went on their own terms, and not too many people went on their own terms. It's like saying they gave this push out the door. So hopefully he got on his own terms. Oh, you have old boy down in Miami, who just up and quit because of NIL and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, right? I mean, like I said, I think not to give too much information, but say that this NIL deal and transfer portal has shaken up the NCAA, because your best, so we're talking college basketball, your best scorer literally getting the transfer portal, plan to come back, but only to get the NIL deal. And he could still say, well, hey, I want to come back to Alabama. I was doing what I was doing, but LSU may call or USC may call and say, hey, you can do the same thing here. We're just going to give you twice the NIL deal money. So it plays a big part on how they make the decisions. And we're talking about different games, right? Duke and North Carolina is going to play at some point. These guys have known each other. Some of these guys did AAU basketball together, whatever. They're playing against each other. Somebody's going to say, man, look, if you come over to Duke, you know what I'm saying, X, Y, and Z. So with all that talk, and the fact that you can literally go to your compliance and say, hey, just put me in the transfer portal. And now everything's up in the air. So it gets very tough, right? And that's why I kind of can understand the coach a little bit, because there's no loyalty. Now, there wasn't loyalty on to defend the kids. There was no loyalty on the coaches, right? If a coach get an opportunity somewhere else, he's going to take it, more money, X, Y, and Z. But now with these kids, you don't see, and it's different when we were in school. Like, Florida State, Gold Nose, we were those guys. Tomahawk Chalk, it was a tradition. LSU had the tradition. Gators have the tradition. Alabama have the tradition. But now we're seeing people that literally would be at Alabama but would transfer to Auburn. And that's like one of the biggest head scratchers ever. You know what I mean? Seeing guys that go to Florida and transfer to Georgia. Like what? Like that doesn't make sense. So because of the transfer portal, because of the NIL deals, it makes things very in question. The tradition that we talk about, the things that we love, that we've known college to be on, is not so much important anymore. It's a money game. And me being on the coaching, I've seen what the transfer portal looks like, and it's insane. I mean, you got people in it that may go just to put the name in there, just to see if opportunities come around, and they take their name out of it. Or you have some people that may see an opportunity and say, "Hey, well, I want to go somewhere else." So, it's a very interesting thing, man. Like I said, the coach of Miami who did decide to hang it up. Don't forget, Nick Saban had his reason for hanging it up as well, right? So for me, it does make sense. Like I said, respectfully, you want the athletes to have their decision on what they want to do, just like coaches do. But again, man, it does shake up a lot. This is kind of reminds me a lot of the decision that LeBron made to go to Miami. Right, we remember seeing Chris Bosh. He was going to Miami, and D Wade said he was staying. They were laughing on the screen, talking about, we're gonna stay at Miami X, Y, and Z. They probably knew what LeBron was gonna do. They probably talked about it, and then LeBron decides to go to Miami. It's very similar now, man. Like you got kids that literally will be the best on their team, average a hell of a lot of points for their team, and they can go join forces with another player or 2 or 3 players to make this run in the NCAA tournament, knowing they're all going to leave. We talk about the Fab Five, Juwan Howard and all of them in Michigan. Well, that team had to be recruited together by the coaches, right? But it's out of the coaches' hands as much now. Now the athletes are the ones that are doing the recruiting, and it's more possible. So, to be honest, man, I think the more that we pay attention to, the transfer portal, how it works, the longer we do this show, we're gonna start seeing names that go to schools that we're gonna be like, damn, like, how did you go here? Even when we see people sign places, I forgot the guy that we talked about, the number 1 overall prospect that signed to
AJ Demisto. So, yeah.
I forgot where did he sign again?
BYU.
So he signed to BYU, right?
Yeah.
In our mind, we're thinking, he's going to stay at BYU for years and go pro, or he's going to stay for a couple of years. He may sign to BYU for 12 months and say, well, damn, this shit ain't working. My buddy plays at LSU. I'm about to get a draft portal and transfer. Yeah. So these are the possibilities that wasn't possible 10 years ago, right? So it opens a lot of doors. Now, obviously, college basketball, you stay a year, you leave. But if you know you're going to leave, you know you're going to be competitive for a championship, these guys can literally leave in 6 months.
Yeah.
They can stay somewhere for 6 months and say, well, dang, this ain't working. This is not for me. I'm going to go somewhere and be more competitive where X, Y, and Z or whatever, get in the transfer portal. And by January, we literally seen them wear a totally different uniform. So this is a totally different game now, man. I mean, the NCAA is making it fair for the athletes, which I honestly agree. But now it makes it where coaching, you have to do your job. You can't be that coach that's going to act in a way that makes sure that you.
So I think, it's going to be tough in the, in the world of basketball. And, with AJ Demisto going to BYU for the $8 million, could we see like more super teams being added up? Like I thought about when that signing happened, when you were out, I thought like, why not some of these schools, these big Christian schools like a BYU, Liberty, so forth, put their money in, kind of create these super teams for every other year or yearly. And I think AJ is going to be like the test run for a lot of these big time Catholic schools to see like, oh, if they can get him and have success, why cannot we? You know? So I don't know. I mean, we'll see on that front of things and how that shapes out in the future and whatnot going forward in the future. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to D-Locke being back with us here on the network. I know his Bucks are playing right now, so we're going to try and get off quick and so he can enjoy that.
Listen, I'm super nervous right now, man. They played shit in the first half. I ain't going to lie. They played terrible in the first half. Golly.
Follow the show page right there. Fast Break ISR. That's Fast Break IESR
yes,
right there. Where they can find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Black Dash 813. D-Locke 813 on Instagram. Black Dash 813 on X. I will be posting a lot of things about the Bucks right now. Hopefully it's great because if the Bucks do win, I will go to work with some type of Bucks memorabilia on. But we'll see. Another half. Let them know they can find you on the show's page.
The show page right there, Fast Break ISR right there. Do check out IE Sports Radio on all your social media feeds right there. The TikTok one, I don't know how much they're gonna last. You know, they got to meet the Supreme Court. We'll see how that goes right there. But you know, the winding days of TikTok, baby, come down soon. Do follow me on Twitter at Spawn4288, Spawn4288. I get my feelings on Rand Carthon being fired and that, you know, crap show that with the Titans going on right now. So, yeah, that's a hot mess right there. Do follow me on the Crooks Process at Instagram and Facebook. I will say TikTok, but like I said, you know, they could be shut down here soon. But like I said, LA Fires, continuing prayers for those folks out there. And then next week, loaded show. Like I said, I'll be down in Tuscaloosa come Tuesday, Ole Miss, Alabama. Big time matchups around the NBA and the college, especially college basketball. So we'll discuss all that. But this is Fast Break here, live for IE Sports Radio. You're the free follow sports. We'll talk to y'all later.